doesn't have to be so far. I need a tripod, you guys. This is so stupid. Okay. Ow. If you only saw how this camera was standing, no, I need to take a picture. Actually, it's like, why don't I have a tripod that just like works? Hi, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to another video. This is like really random because I wasn't really gonna film anything. I don't know why. I felt so pressed to just like come and like record for a couple minutes and just talk to you guys about this like topic, I guess, of just, well, it starts like this because this morning my friend messaged me, and this morning I woke up and I was praying in my room, and when I was praying I was asking God, like, what do you want me to do with my YouTube channel? Like, what do you want me to do with like all of the platforms that like you have for me? And I feel like I asked that question to him like a lot. Like, I'll be like, what do you want me to do with like my platforms? Because I don't know, sometimes I just want to make sure I'm using them in the right way. Like, sometimes I get convicted just because like I'm a girl who loves like, you know, fashion and stuff, but like obviously that's completely okay, and it's like a huge part of who I am and a calling that he's called me to. But on the other hand, I'm very aware of like the vanity aspect of like this life, and I'm so aware of like the trends that everyone's following and how they're just like so like robotic. Like, I feel like you see a lot of people doing the exact same thing, and just because it works for someone, they like copy it and be like, okay, well, if it works for them, I'm gonna do it for myself. And I don't know, sometimes I just feel like that's not necessarily authentic, and I always just like want to be as authentic as possible. Like, I just feel like that is something I've been working on and just trying to be, I guess. And then also something I've been working on is like showing up on camera like the same that I am on person, but it's kind of hard because I don't know, sometimes you just, it's hard. Like, just if you honestly took a camera and like opened it and then like started talking to it, you would probably find it hard too to just like be yourself. It's like a weird, I don't know, it's just a little different. Like, you kind of can just like turn something on, but I've been trying to just like, I don't know, not do that as much and just sort of like let it flow and just be myself. But anyways, this morning I was reading like my Bible. I do that every morning, like my morning routine, and I was just like spending time in my, this is like my room, my closet. I have a room, and then this is like another room that I have. And while I was praying and stuff, I remember asking God that, and then I prayed for my friend, just like one of my friends. Her name's Hannah, and she literally messaged me, like, I guess she had messaged me before, but I don't check my phone the first thing in the morning. So then I checked my phone, and when I checked it, she had messaged me this like memo, and she was like, I had a dream about you last night. Like, everything that I dreamt was like basically like you were sitting on like, or you were doing something. She was like, and you were talking to the YouTube, like talking to your YouTube like family or whatever, and she was like, you were saying to them just like everything that God has been teaching you recently. And she was like, I literally saw the title, what God has been teaching me recently, and I was like watching you, and you were just being like really authentic and like vulnerable about yourself, and just like sharing like everything that like you have struggled with, and whatever. She was like, so maybe like that's a sign for you to just like really start like opening up more on YouTube and like showing that side of you and talking about that side of you. Like, I really feel like he wants you to like talk. And I feel like for me, I took that like completely, like that's exactly was like an answer from God, you know. Also, like, I love to do vlogs, I love health, and I love all that stuff too. But I think a majority of the things that God has taught me is like, I have a voice and I can use it. Like, I love to communicate, and there's nothing holding myself back except myself and my scaredness. Like, you know, I'll admit, like, yes, I'm a Christian, but there's times like I am afraid. Like, I get like nervous to like share these sides of me on the internet, because it's like, one, anyone can see it, and two, it's vulnerable and scary to like open up in front of, I don't know, like people. And I just feel like though, like that was a really good message, like the dream she had, because God does teach me a lot of stuff, and I feel like sometimes I hold back. I don't like share it because of a lot of reasons, but I like share my faith a lot in person. Like, if you met me or like you see me, like I'm kind of bold in that aspect. But sometimes like when it comes to like my social media platforms, I share my faith, but I don't like go into depth about like what God really has done in my life. And I always just feel like I don't do that because, And this was another thing she said. She said, she said, I had a dream too. You have also been very secluded. Like, she was like, you were saying in the video how you were super singled out and you just felt like God was kind of taking you on this path of like, what did she say? She said like, not loneliness, but, and not singleness, but like on, just like on a path of like, soloness, like just being like solo. And yeah, I couldn't relate more to that because I think honestly that's another thing that's like a huge part of my life. Like, I grew up always having a ton of friends, and it's something that I've just like always known. I played soccer. I was like on soccer teams, and like school, like I talked to everybody. I was so social. I wasn't really super shy, and I kind of always just like had a ton of friends. And then college came, and I sort of had this falling out with a lot of my friends who played soccer with me. Like just whatever, things like didn't work out, and it led me to going to church and then like finding, I don't know, anyways. But besides that, ever since like that, I guess, incident or whatever, like I stopped kind of being friends with those girls because of what had happened. I was just so hurt, and like I forgive them and everything, but we just like didn't remain close, you know? So it really did like seclude me. I really was like by myself. I remember like always showing up places by myself and going to like parties like by myself, and I always just like found myself like so independent. And it was so weird because I never ever like in my life had been so independent. Like, I just remember always having somebody I could like call and like text and be like, hey, do you want to come do this with me, or want to go get dinner or something? And I literally remember in this time, like I had, like, I feel like I could say I had someone, but I genuinely felt as if like I had no one. Like, I really didn't have friends. And so I guess like what I also want to talk about is just like, it's okay if you feel like you don't have like a friend group right now. Have friends. Like, I have been there, and I know it sucks. Like, I will say that wholeheartedly. Like, I know it sucks when you see like, you know, especially maybe if you were like secluded and then you see your friend group like all together going somewhere. I remember that used to hurt me so much. Like, not even them, like it wasn't that I didn't want them to like enjoy themselves. It wasn't even that. I think I was just upset at the circumstance, and it like literally actually hurt my heart when I would see it, because I was like, I just like miss it, you know? I miss being friends with people and like doing stuff and laughing and whatever. But all to say, I honestly do full-heartedly believe that like the reason that things happen are for a reason. Like, God had to seclude me because I've grown so much into who I was meant to be and who I've been, I guess, like character-wise, being by myself and learning these things by myself. I guess I don't know, you know, 100% like why anything had to happen, but it has made me stronger, and it definitely has made me who I am today. But I do feel like I'm on this life journey at the moment, like very solo. And I don't say that with like a victim mentality. Like, I am not like, feel bad for me. Like I have friends. I have great friends. But I really was secluded from that, like, I don't want to say cult, like not cult, but like, you know, like that friend group thing. Like that thing where everyone has like the group of friends, but like, you know, your friend group, like you call them your friend group. I know how that feels. Like, I know how it feels to be like secluded from that. And also what Hannah was saying to me in the dream, like that I feel like I should speak on, is like, I don't open up a lot to anyone, really. Maybe a couple, maybe like one or two. I open up to people, but not like, maybe people like people that know me like probably wouldn't think certain things about me that I go through. Like, they probably would have no idea, is what I'm saying, because I've always felt like I've had to be so strong, and I don't know why like that's the case, but I definitely always feel sorry, I definitely always feel like I have to be so strong for like my friends and my family, like just like, I don't know, in general. I feel like I'll just take on the burden in a sense, so it allows me to not really feel like what I'm going through is like enough to put on someone else. Like, I don't know, but I've also been like extremely hurt. Like, I have been through so much heartache and heartbreak. Like, I don't think maybe you know, because like I don't tell anyone, like, you know, I don't go on Instagram and post like I've been through heartbreak the past 6 years, like, you know what I mean? Like, ever since that thing happened with my friends, like, I really was so heartbroken. It took me like 3 years to get past, because these were people who I was friends with like every single day, and they were a huge part of my life because like I played soccer, and it was just so hard because I was like so close to them, and then literally one day I was like not talking to them, and I felt like I didn't do anything wrong. So I was like struggling because I felt like there was something wrong with me. And this is how God kind of like came into my life, because I remember just thinking like there must be something wrong with me, like, you know. And I mean, of course, like everyone has things, like we all have things that we need to work on. We're not perfect. We're literally imperfect people, imperfect humans. Like, we're going to let each other down, like at some point in life. I don't care if you're like married or even just like best friends with someone, like you may do something that really bothers them. But for me to be like completely cut off and just like, you know, I guess not friends with them ever again, like it really hurt me, because it was just, it's like a breakup. It's like you're dating someone and then you guys stop talking, and the memories, and like there's a grieving period. And I was going through school still, and I wasn't going to church at this point. I remember like I was like always working on myself. Like I always tried to take care of my body, like work out and eat healthy and stuff like that, but I never was like going to church. I didn't really have like a relationship with God as I do now. And I fully believe though, like because that incident happened, like it led me to go to God. So it was actually my biggest blessing, because people may not understand, like, but you're so like secluded and you don't have a lot of friends at the moment, but you have God. And you know, to me, like that is so everything, because God has given me life in so many ways that friends would never be able to fulfill. And yes, of course, friends are a huge deal and God wants us to have community. But sometimes you just have to like embrace the season you're in and like allow yourself to be okay being alone. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, you only have yourself, and you can have as many friends as you want, but like if you can't go to bed at night and feel comfortable with who you are, or if you don't even know who you are, like how are you supposed to expect your friends to treat you well, or like a boyfriend even, like, you know? So I really feel like because I was so secluded, it set me up for success in ways that I never would have thought, because I would have never stopped being friends with those girls. And I fully believe there's nothing wrong with the people that I was friends with. Like, I'm literally friends with them still. Like, I could call them right now and text them. There's no bad blood or anything. Like, I forgive full-heartedly. As much as I was hurt, I definitely forgave them, and they're amazing people. It's not that, but I do think sometimes circumstances just happen. Like sometimes people just aren't meant to be in your whole entire life, but they're just meant to be like a part of a season of your life. So I really had to just like accept that, and that was hard. I remember that being really hard, just like completely accepting that like people who were in my life for 3 years like will no longer really be my best friend. Like maybe they'll be my friend, but they just won't be my best friend. And I had a hard time accepting that, but then like, you know, with time I accepted it. But you know, through that time, I didn't just lose those friends. Like I've lost so many other friends. Like walking with God, I've really lost a lot of friends, because I obviously think it's something that sometimes people can think is weird. Like really, honestly, like I do understand that I do understand that, because truthfully, the gospel and like following God's ways are weird. Like honestly, like the things that God says like are not necessarily normal. Like they're kind of weird. Like he'll say, well, forgive your enemies. Like the world's going to tell you to just like do back to them what they did to you, and God's ways are, well, forgive them and love them anyways. And you're like, okay, sure, but like I'm mad. Like why would I do that? Like that's weird. I just watched a sermon about this guy, Greg Rochelle. He was saying how like being a Christian and following God, like not even just like God's ways are weird. Like he was like but it's not like anything to be ashamed of. It's not anything to be like, you know, sad about, or you just have to like accept it. Like accept the fact that like the things that you're gonna do are gonna contradict the world, and they might think you're weird for it, but that's also probably people pleasing, which I've also dealt with. I've also dealt with a lot of things like image, like insecurities. I always felt like I needed to be perfect. Like in high school, I used to always get complimented on my appearance, and that led me to always have to feel like I had to strive to like be this perfect person who always looked good, because that's when I would get praised on. And when you're in those young eras, you're getting attention in certain aspects of your life. Like for me also, I'll just be completely honest, like I have always had like bigger legs, a bigger butt, like I work out, and I remember boys always giving me attention like for my butt, saying like, oh my gosh, she has such a nice butt, and I remember that always making me think like I had to always like look the best. I don't know, that just could be me, but that's my personality because I'm a perfectionist. Like I literally am so hard on myself sometimes because I need to be perfect, and like God has helped me so much with that. Like I don't need to be perfect. Like even like when it comes to like my hair color, right? Like that's so like really dumb, but it's not dumb. Like it's something I struggled with. Like I used to have blonde hair, but like, you know, as I got older, I would like really find myself going to the hair salon and like having to have like the best hair and having to have like the perfect color. Like if it didn't come out like perfect, like I would be like really upset, and it kind of sucked because it would like show that I was like, I'm not really easygoing, but I'm really, really kind-hearted and sweet. So it kind of contradicted. Like I know what I want, so sometimes, and that's not a bad thing, but sometimes it was hard because I was like looking for perfectionism. Like I've always just like been looking for perfectionism. Like even if I'm just going out to get coffee, like I always felt like I would like let people down, but I was letting myself down because there's no such thing as perfect, and it's so hard living that way. Like maybe there's like one other person out there living the way that I have struggled living, and it's like there's no such thing as being perfect. I don't care like how good you look. It's even harder if people are complimenting you 24/7, or if you get praised on certain stuff, like that might make you want to look even better. Like it's all about image, and like it's really just, I don't know. So that's when I started to learn how like who I am is like the most beautiful part of me, and if I can always strive to pour into that and let God show me who he's created me to be, and like the things that make me laugh and the things that make me whatever, like happy, and when I'm doing acts of kindness to other people, it's like changing the world. Like that's what matters. It's not just about if my hair is like a little flat today, because then that is what vain is, being vain. Like you're being in idolatry, like you're obsessing over yourself. It's like self-worship. That's not how I want to be, and I definitely was like that for a long time. And vanity is so big. Like I just feel like I've been saved from a lot of different things of like vanity, and I just say like the whole taboo topic of like sex and like just looking sexy and like having to like look like this specific certain thing. I just think like that is so robotic, and it's so not authentic. It's like not you being yourself. You're basically trying to like mold into what's selling. Like, and I just don't think that that's, you know, I don't know. I don't like that. Like I think that that's bad. Like honestly, I think it's hurting a lot of people. It's making a lot of people compare themselves to something that's not real. Like it's just not real. Literally, it is not real. That's like what I've come to the conclusion of. So anyways, I do have to go somewhere, but I kind of just wanted to like film this quick. I don't know if I'm gonna post it, but this was all inspired because I prayed about it, and then I got a dream about it, and then I really felt like I was supposed to just like put the message out. So anyways, stay true to yourself. You have amazing, amazing qualities from within you that are meant to be shown, not just your outside. Everything else is just a bonus, and taking care of yourself makes you feel good and strong, and that's amazing. But don't forget who you are. Like, who are you? You know, like after this video, like, who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? Like, what are the things that like fill you? Like, think about that, because that's what's gonna fulfill you. Okay? Well, anyways, I gotta go. Love you guys.